Hello everyone, welcome back to our management accounting class where we are continuing with the fund flow statement and continuation with the same topic. Today we will try to solve one more problem in your fund flow statement topic. So for the day, here you have the question, okay, and similar way as we every day do in management accounting class, we will discuss the question each and every item, okay, about which item comes where and where we need to post it, or whether it is a what special heading is there for that item. Okay, so very first item, we'll start definitely from the liability side. So very first item, we have a equity share capital. So last class also we have got some similar type things, okay. And even though if you're thinking that same type of question only, then do one thing, try to practice more and more, okay, and then we'll move to the some different types of question also, okay. So never think like what everyday same type of questions, not like everyday same type of question. I just want you to practice properly, okay. So now the first item, equity share capital. In 2012, 6 lakh and 2013, 8 lakh. So what we are able to see, there is a extra issue of equity share worth rupees 2 lakh. Okay. And whenever we are going for the extra issue of shares, then it is going to be our source of fund. Okay. Then next we have a profit and loss account. So that we use while calculating fund from operation. Then we have a general reserve. So in 2012, if we'll see 50,000, and in 13 it is 70,000. That means excess 20,000 we have transferred toward the general reserve. And as always, I used to say that transfer towards the general reserve is your non-cash expense. Okay. Then we have a provision for taxation. So last problem, provision for taxation, I have treated as a non-operating item. Okay. So here I will treat it today for the day in this solution as a current liability. Okay, provision for taxation as a current liability. So this will be a part of your statement, changes showing working capital. Okay, the next we have item creditors, that is again your current liability, bills payable again current liability, and outstanding rent again current liability. Fine. Now coming to your asset side. First item we have land and building. So it's normal thing, whenever we have the fixed assets and all, better to read the additional information also. If there is anything related to that, then we need to work on with that also and try to find out the final things, whether it is a purchase, sale, profit, loss, depreciation, whatever the things. Okay, so land and building, under your additional information we don't have anything related to land and building, so directly just we can go further with the value given in the balance sheet only. We will try to find out whether it is a sale or purchase. Okay, so 2012 value of the land and building was 1,80,000, and in 2003 the value of the land and building is 2,20,000. Okay, so what we are able to see, we have a extra. Okay, compared to 180, definitely extra is here. So that extra we have to assume as the excess purchase. Okay, excess purchase of land and building. And whenever we are going to purchase something, that means we have to do the payment. So if we are doing the payment, it is going to be the application of fund. Okay, application is nothing, it is uses. Okay, where you are using the fund. Okay, and sources from wherever you are getting the fund. Okay, now next we have a plant and machinery. So in relation to plant and machinery, we have the additional information also. Okay, so we will work on this afterwards. Okay, next we'll move toward the stock. Stock is your current asset, bills, receivables, current assets, debtors, current asset, cash in hand, current assets. Okay, so these all are your current assets. Now moving to your additional information. So additional information, depreciation on plant and machinery, rupees 50,000, and depreciation is what? Depreciation is your non-cash expense. Okay, Then next we have a information, a piece of machinery costing rupees 12,000, okay, was sold for 8,000 during 2013. And in bracket we have a information on depreciation of rupees 7,000 had been provided on it. So the value of the machine was 12,000, but on that depreciation was 7,000. So the remaining actual value of the machine was now 12,000 minus 7,000. It's going to be 5,000 only. Okay, please listen here very carefully. We have the information, a piece of machinery costing rupees 12,000 was sold for 8,000. Okay, so you very quickly will say the cost was 12,000 and we have sold for 8,000, so it is a loss on sale. But no, hold down. Please read the information what is given in the bracket also. Depreciation of rupees 7,000 has been provided on it. That means 12,000 is not the actual value now. Okay, actual value is 12,000 minus 7,000, that is 5,000. So if I have to make a clean and clear statement from this, then I'll make the statement, okay, a piece of machinery worth rupees 5,000 sold for 8,000. So now it is a case of profit. Okay, the machine which value at the 5,000, you have sold it for the 8,000, that means 3,000 is your profit. And profit on the sale of fixed asset as a part of our non-fund or non-operating income or gain. Clear? The next we have interim dividend of rupees 6,000 was paid during the year. And earlier also we have seen, okay, interim dividend is your non-operating expense, and as here actual cash is going out from your pocket, so it will be your application of fund also. Okay, so it will appear twice, once while calculating fund from operation as a non-operating expense, and another when we'll prepare the fund flow statement. So there also it will appear under the heading of application of fund. Clear? And then we have the income tax paid during 2013 rupees 45,000. So now I don't know how much you have remembered the first problem which we have solved for the fund flow statement, okay, not working capital or FFO, fund flow statement. There also we have treated the provision for tax as the current liability, and there also I have told, and even I have given you the notes also, how to treat the provision for tax and proposed dividends and some other items, okay, in different ways. So now today we are taking it as a current liability, and when we are going to treat the provision for taxation as a current liability, so related to tax, if any additional information is given, just ignore it. Okay, just ignore it. Clear? So now when the question is clear, quickly we'll move towards the solution. So here is the answer. First step, always statement of changes in working capital. So particular 2012, 2013, increase, decrease. Okay, and if you have got bored with the 2012 and 13, you can change the year according to you, no issues at all. Okay, so first always we have to take the current assets, and in question only we have seen we had the 4 current assets: stock, debtor, BR, cash. And with the current asset, okay, we have to not actually only with the current asset, under your changes in working capital, out of 4 rules we need to keep, remember how many we need to keep, remember. So still if you don't know, then from today onwards I also don't know how many to keep, remember, let it be. Okay, so stock, just I'll discuss. So in 2012 stock value is 1 lakh and 2013 stock value is 85,000. We can see that it is decreasing. Okay, so decrease in current asset, decrease in working capital also. So we are going to place the decreasing value in your decrease column. Okay, and then we have the debtors, 1,50,000 in 2012 and 1,60,000 in your 2013. So you can see here it is a increase. An increase in current asset, increase in working capital. So 10,000 difference, we are going to place it in your increase column. Okay, same things we have did with the bills, receivables and cash. You have to just check out whether it is an increase or decrease. Okay, and once your all current assets over, what we used to do, we used to total the year column, that is your current assets. Okay, so 3,20,000 your total current asset in 2012 and 2,95,000 in 2013, and then we'll move towards the current liability. So as I have told already, provision for tax, we are going to treat it as a current liability here. And see, I am always telling you, whenever see you are open until and unless it is not mentioned very clearly in the question that how you have to treat the provision for tax, okay, you are free. You can go either with the current liability thing also, or you can go either with your non-operating things also, sorry, non-current things also, okay. But whatever you are going, you have to mention it. Okay, when we'll solve, you have to mention it as a note that I am treating the provision for tax as a current liability, or I am treating the provision for tax as the non-current item. Okay, because you know very well, I hope, okay, after reaching to this point, you know very well, when we treat it in a current way, definitely the answer used to be different, and when we treat it as a non-current, answer used to be slightly different. So the evaluator should not get confused. You have to make the note very clearly. Okay, so here I am repeating from the starting only. Provision for tax I have treated as a current liability, so taken in your statement of changes in working capital. And always keep remember, whatever item is going to appear in your statement of changes in working capital, nowhere else further steps, nowhere in the further steps those items or related to those item things will appear. Okay, now your provision for tax 2012 value 50,000, 2013 value 40,000. That means it is decreasing, and decrease in a current liability, okay, increase in working capital. Fine. And same thing, you have to calculate the increase or decrease with your creditors, bills payable, and outstanding rent. And once all the items of your current liability is over, make the total of current liability. Okay, so which is in 2012 2,50,000, and in 2013 2,85,000. And then we need to calculate the net working capital formula. Again repeating, very simple, current asset minus current liability. So 3,20,000 minus 2,50,000, we will get the working capital as a 70,000 in 2012. And in 2013, 2,95,000 minus 2,85,000, we will get the working capital as 10,000. Okay, so in 2012 working capital was 70,000, and in 2013 working capital is 10,000. It shows very clearly that working capital has got decreased. Okay, so we will write the next decrease in working capital. How much it got decreased? It got decreased for 60,000. Okay, and then close your year column. And same way you have to calculate increase decrease with your increase decrease column also. So when we are going to make the total of decrease column, 15,000 plus 20,000 plus 20,000 plus 10,000 plus 15,000, okay, it is going to be 80,000. Fine. And then we have in your increase column 10,000 and 10,000. So 80,000 minus 20,000, we will get the decrease in working capital 60,000. Always I used to repeat the same thing. Okay, make sure how much increase or decrease in your working capital you have got in a year column, same amount you have to get in your increase and decrease column also. Okay, when you are going to compare the increase and decrease column. Clear? So first step over. Next we'll work with the some of the items for which, and last class also I have told, for whatever the fixed things, okay, or long term or the capital things, you have extra additional informations, okay, little bit extra, then it's always better to open a ledger account. If it is just like in this question case, okay, in the case of this question, sorry, land and building, where we have calculated very quickly that related to land and building, no depreciation and no further additional information was given. So we have just compared. Okay, 2012 value is 1,80,000 and 2013 value is 2,20,000. So that means we are doing the extra purchase difference amount, because definitely last year you had 1,80,000. Okay, worth rupees 1,80,000 you had the land and building. So this year how come it is extra? Okay, there's a, as per me, very simple terms assumptions. Two, one, you have gone for revaluation, but if it is a case of revaluation, definitely they will mention for you. Okay, because that will become your case of non-cash profit also. Fine. So that thing is not here. So the another option is left only what? We have to assume that we have purchased the extra. Okay, but related to plant and machinery, we had a little bit extra additional information, so it's always better to open the ledger account. So it is an asset, so definitely opening balance your debit side, that is 5 lakh. Okay, and we had in the additional information only that depreciation on plant and machinery rupees 50,000. So post that also by depreciation 50,000. And then again in the additional information only we had information what we have sold the piece of machinery for how much 8,000. So by cash, that is sale 8,000, and there only we have calculated very clearly that the machinery costing rupees 12,000, on that depreciation 7,000. So now actual value was left only 5,000, which we have sold for 8,000. So we got 3,000 as the profit. So do the entry of that also to profit and loss. Okay, 3,000. Fine. And then we are having the closing balance. So place your closing balance, buy balance, carry it down, and then finally calculate the balancing figure. Okay, so we are getting the balancing figure which side? We are getting debit side, so it is going to be your purchase, cash purchase. Clear? And whenever we are purchasing anything, that means we have to do the payment, then it is going to be a application of fund. Clear? Now the next we have to calculate fund from operation. So for fund from operation, we'll take first under consideration cost, your closing profit and loss from the balance sheet. So closing profit and loss is 1,60,000. In that we need to add non-cash or non-cash, non-fund or non-operating expenses or losses. So we have already discussed, okay, which were our non-cash, non-fund or non-operating expenses or losses. The same thing we have to just post here. One is your depreciation on plant, that is non-cash. Transfer to general reserve, again non-cash. Interim dividend paid, that is non-operating. Okay, make the total of 376,000 in your outer column of amount, and then in this we need to deduct non-cash and non-fund income or gain. So we have seen when we have sold a piece of machinery, we got the 3,000 as the profit. So profit on sale of plant and machinery, that is going to be your non-operating income or gain, and then nothing else was there. So we're just going to take the last item, that always going to be your opening profit and loss value, which is from the balance sheet 1 lakh, and taking the total of these two in your outer column 1,03,000, and then finally working with the outer column 1,60,000 plus 76,000 minus 1,03,000. We are going to get the fund from operation as 1,33,000. Clear? And then finally we will prepare fund flow statement. Okay, and for fund flow statement we have the two headings, sources and your application. Okay, so sources amount, application amount, and we have discussed already, okay, that excess issue of share capital, which was for 2 lakh, that used to be a source. Okay, then we have sold a piece of machinery. When we have sold something, definitely cash is coming in our pocket, so that is going to be our source. So sale of plant and machinery 8,000 is our source, and fund from operation definitely our source, so that is 1,33,000. Make the total of these three, that is 3,41,000. And then coming to your application, we have seen from the balance sheet, remember, I hope, okay, 1,80,000 and 2,20,000. So difference between these two we are going to assume as a purchase of land and building. So how much the purchase value? 40,000. 220 minus 180, okay, in lakhs. And then we had from the plant and machinery ledger account, we have calculated, we have purchased the plant and machinery worth rupees how much? 3,55,000. Okay, so we have purchased that, and then we had the information that interim dividend paid, and I have told you interim dividend paid means it is going to be your non-operating expense also, and same time it is going to be your application also. So make the total of these three again, 4,01,000, and then finally we are left with only one cross verification, which is most important. Okay, that we have to make sure the difference between the source and application should be equal to your decrease or increase in working capital, just as your first step. So that is 3,41,000. Or if you remember last time, always we have did what? sources minus application, but here you can see application is a bigger amount, so we have to go for application minus source. That will be our decrease in working capital, and it is exactly equal. Okay, 60,000 decrease in working capital, and even if we check in your first step, here also we have got the decrease in working capital as a 60,000. Okay, so this much for the day. Thank you. Have a nice day. Enjoy. Keep learning.